Hroom let out a collective wailing hum that had been reserved for high religious ceremonies or the presence of the Empress. The humans wept. The Kavli stood rigid and motionless, hands clasped in front of them. Eyes closed, they whispered, "Kavli, Kavli, Kavli," as the Adjudicator passed. Worshipful all, enthralled by the presence of their master, who was alone and completely vulnerable. All it would take was one malfunction, one broken implant. A human could do it. They were bold and given to fits of emotion. One could charge in and knock down the enemy, hold down its guns long enough for others to snatch up stones and smash its faceplate, break its joints. Nilzul Mena stared, begging them to act. But nobody made a move. They never did. The Adjudicator spotted the Overseer standing apart and made its way over. Something buzzed in Nilzul Mena's head as it approached, and there was a cool, throbbing sensation where the metal brackets of the implant emerged from his skull. Not painful, but not pleasant either. The urge to hum praise was too strong to resist, and he gave in to the sensation. The Adjudicator spoke directly to his implant.
"You will set the devotees to work. This labor must be completed rapidly."
A flood of joy passed through Nilzul Mena at the sound of his enemy's voice. He wanted to raise his arms and worship. It was all false. He knew this. The emotion came through his brain implant, and his reaction to the voice of his master was nothing more than a hijacking of his brain's normal functions. But he still wanted to weep with love. He was careful to smooth his mind before answering. Always calm the mind first, as if he were still an acolyte at the Hroom Temple. Stray thoughts could betray him. Give them a voice, even internally, and the enemy would suspect. And once it suspected, it would soon know. "Yes, O Lord of Life and Keeper of the Holy Dwellers," he said, responding with thoughts rather than spoken words. "When will the equipment arrive?"
"It's here already, buried beneath the soil to shield it from radiation."
"How will we get it out?"
"There are lesser tools in the shuttle. They will help you reach the greater tools."
Nilzul Mena hummed a sharp note through his nose slits. A pair of nearby Hroom looked at him with concern. He fell silent and smoothed his thoughts again before answering. "I saw a few shovels and picks. Not enough for everyone." In addition to the tools, there was a little water on the shuttle, less food, not much room for rations with all the workers packed into the hold. The Adjudicator's mech helmet turned slightly toward the shuttle, as if he'd caught the stray thought about food and water.
"That is all you need. Dig up the top layer and recover the heavy equipment. It is no more than 2 or 3 meters to the first vault."
"It's hot here. There will be losses."
"Of course. A penance paid by the wicked to purify the galaxy."
Even apart from the lack of food and water, they had no barracks. Were there plans to build them, or would they sleep in the open? The Adjudicators fully intended to work their labor force to death. That much was a given. But by all the sacred shrines, how many would they lose on this one project?
"More devotees will arrive. All that you need and more. Do not slow for the dying. Do not slow for anything."
"Yes, Lord of Life, I will obey." The Adjudicator turned to go, signaling that the conversation was at an end. Even among themselves, the aliens were not given to polite language, not even to the human extent, whose short greetings and farewells seemed rude to a Hroom. The sudden deflating of Nilzul Mena's joy and pleasure receptors told him the speaker had disconnected from his implant. All that was left was a dull headache, a metallic taste in the mouth, and a desperate craving to hear the voice of his masters, to know their desires and to fulfill them, even though his own death was the reward. For others, human, Hroom, Kavli, and presumably other conquered races, that need would drive them mad, but Nilzul Mena had mastered it. Soon enough, the cravings would stop, the need to please his masters would fade, and he would be in full command of his own mind. That was a secret more carefully guarded than anything else, not only for his own sanity, but to preserve any others who might be in his same situation. Give one of them away, and the Adjudicators would root them all out.